War never changes. This is the story of Martin Winters. After visiting the Old World amusement park, my grandfather felt nostalgic. Making his way to Concord and past on, he found an old landmark he hasn't seen in quite a while, the Drumlin Diner. Him and Nora used to visit there, go there for dinner, maybe even a bit of breakfast if they had time on their way into the city. But the old diner seen better days. But approaching the diner, my grandfather overheard arguing between two chem pushers, Wolfgang and Simone. And while inside the Drumlin Diner, there was a old woman there. Well, not that old. Her name was Trudy, and her son Jack. The grandfather, being a persuasive man, made them lower their weapons and tell them what was going on. Tell him what was going on. Wolfgang explained that they held out money on them from a chem shipment. Their son, her son, Trudy's son, was a bit of an addict in his time. He was addicted to jet and had no way of paying the chem dealers. But grandfather always wanted to hear both sides of the stories before he made his choice of who he's going to help and how. So he chose to decide, he decided to talk to Trudy instead. Hopefully there was a peaceful way of going about this, but in this new world where the law is the gun you carry and how much ammo you have, there's probably only one choice. And he didn't want to see an innocent woman lose out money on this, or supplies or anything else. So he offered her his help.
What can I do?
Get rid of Wolfgang.
She had a suggestion that we kill them.
But I'll pay you
They should kill them.
that
And she'll support him from inside the diner. But he did feel bad about it, but he chose
Look, this place might not look
to ask why. Why should I? Why would I need to do it?
You help me, we can trade
But
for whatever you need.
Trudy had a strong sense of family. And he didn't want to see it. Well, he and her didn't want to see anyone else's family be torn apart by chems.
Go get him.
So he accepted. A small firefight broke out between Wolfgang, Simone, my grandfather, and Trudy. Simone retreating down the driveway of the inn, and Wolfgang hiding out in the bushes, still firing on them. Well, it's always good to have a good guard dog with you. Well, Dogmeat, our trusted companion here, was able to subdue Wolfgang and kill him. Taking bullets is something nothing new for my grandfather. He took enough of it in Alaska. And now moving towards Simone, he puts her down. And knowing the new world, they had better gear, ammo, even equipment than him. So taking from the dead was necessary these days. He looted Simone's body and then Wolfgang's, taking their caps, their ammo, clothing, armor, weapons. Everything he needed to do was necessary in a new world of survival. Making his way back into the diner, he chose to speak to Trudy. Trudy being very grateful for what he did, helping her out, offered him trade anytime he came across the way. Anything he wanted to sell or get rid of, he was more than welcome to come into the shop, sell it and earn some caps, or buy some new equipment while he was at it.
Excuse me.
I can rest easy knowing that Wolfgang is rotten.
This old world trading in his mind was you just go to a department store and buy what you needed.
Things covered from here?
Needed ammo for your gun or your hunting rifle, just go down to the gun shop and buy it.
We always do.
But now you have to scavenge, supplies, barter, trade. In some cases, if you're desperate, like most, you kill for it. Trudy was honest with my grandfather. She was an honest trader. She saw value in everything and gave the correct values. She's a good woman. Good friend as well. Her son Jack runs the shop now. And he's just as bright as her in her youth. He kicked his addiction a while back. Long before I was born, anyway. He's an upright man, upright, honest man, and family of his own. And he thanks my grandfather, well, thanks me every day for my grandfather to coming around and making sure his mom was safe and him. And he regretted that day, taking those chems. Well, money was hard to come by in the wastes anyway. Had to do a lot of scavenging and a lot of trading just to make some honest money to get things that you usually wouldn't find in the wasteland. Before leaving, he talked to Jack and,
I swear.
well, he said how sorry he was and he was never doing Jet again. He believed that boy. My grandfather being very organized. He chose to check all his equipment, his ammo, every bit of clothing he had in his bag. His next objective, put on new equipment and check on the wedding rings. Took out his 10 mil, but before leaving he gave Wolfgang and Simone some humanity. He buried them. Later that evening, the sky getting darker, he stumbled across an old army reconnaissance bunker with an I-bot runner. Outside of it, the old world flag. These bunkers back in its day would have been used to help troop transport. Organize troops, supply them if necessary, and to detect incoming nuclear weapons. As he entered, he saw a broken Mr. Gusty. And the soldier posted there as well. Maybe he had a nice sleep before he went, or it was painful, but he hopes anyway, and I do as well, that he had a painless sleep before he passed. Looking up to the old world flag, he felt pride that it's still standing there today. But he felt a bit of guilt of surviving. Him and his family were chosen into this safe haven, and his family to be taken away from. He has some survivor guilt about it. But that soon was pushed by for a moment when some raiders were hiding out in a house thinking they were friendlies, maybe an opportunity to stay there for the night, opened fire on my grandfather, and, well, push come to shove, he met some of the wasteland creatures. Mirelurks. They taste pretty goddamn good when you cook them up on the fire, but they stink otherwise when they're dead. After a bit of looking about, reloading of his weapons, he picked up all the ammunition he needed, held items, and then realized that these men were probably worse than those camp pushers that he met outside of the Drumlin Diner. Later on in his life, he met a lot of those raiders. Murdered, killed, looted, kidnapped, and sold people into slavery. Didn't have much respect for them. So, he chose this place to sleep for the night. It may have smelled like blood and bullets, gunpowder in the air, but it was better than sleeping nowhere else. So, just for now, he left the bodies outside on the front lawn. He dragged them out, threw them over the banisters, and left them there. I definitely know the next morning he got up, dug 3 graves, and burnt the Mirelurk bodies. This world is taking its toll on my grandfather. He doesn't know what's right or wrong anymore, who's innocent and who's guilty. For a long time, he's wished the Boston PD were still around. No more calling them up on the phone, telling them there's a crime in progress, or you tackling the guy trying to mug some lady's purse. But after clearing out most of the bodies, he's grown tired. This day has been a long one. So, chose to sit down and sleep. Having dog me as a good guard dog helps a lot. But this is a story for another time. So basically he closed his eyes and slept. Till the next day. War never changes, as he always said. But the reason you have to fight that war makes all the difference. These are the stories of Martin Winters.